Okay, we lit it just like a fuse, so no need to pick and choose. Welcome to 2020, where we do more than interviews. The hottest be coming through, jumping knowledge on all of you. Get a peek at the front of you with the truth that they offer you. Yeah, hands up, we doing it for the culture. To give artists and businesses more exposure. Keeping it real and stay solid just like a boulder. It's about to go all the way down, can't get no lower. Chasing my dreams, know that they get no slower. But if I stay running, I promise they getting closer. Moreover, success my older. And if you're sleeping on me, I'm waking them up like Folgers. I told you, coming from the land with the tide roll. Well, we'll be on a whole different vibe though. We like to ride slow and keep our windows tinted so you really can see us like Stevie Wonder waking up with his eyes closed. Yeah, got the kind of flow that rock the boat. On my 16s of pounds of dough. And if you figure you can hang with me on the mic, then grab some rope. Matter of fact, better grab some hope. While you at it, we keep it live, it's time to tune in. Turn up the sound on what you're using. It goes so hard, I think it's bruising. The show is 2020, no need to zoom in. Yeah.
Yo, thank you for tuning in to another episode of A Business Minute. I'm your boy, sir, of the 2020 podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC. I worked hard for that. But anyway, today I got my boy, Derek Foster, hometown hero, brother. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, boss. How you doing?
Man, I already told you, I can't call it. I'm just blessed to be here, especially with you, brother. I wanted to highlight you in particular because I see that you're an author / artist. And so I wanted to delve and just kind of share with the world what it is that you've done recently.
So at the past couple of months, I have managed to publish a coloring book. It's called Basically I'm a Dreamer. So that's what I put out to the world. Actually, in the last couple of days, I introduced it to the world, but it's something I've been working on for probably about 2 years total. But in the last few months, we finalized everything to make it official. So it is a published and copywritten coloring book. And yeah, putting it out to the world, man. Hope everybody likes it.
Brother, I'm copying my copy today. I can't wait. I'm a big fan of art. And I always, I don't know if you used to go to them, but Art Walk used to be a huge thing here in Mobile. It was a great way to get out, do some family activities, walk and support your artists. But COVID has kind of threw a wrench in that for a few months. So I haven't been able to get my art fixed. So when I saw on Facebook this post that a young man made who looked oddly familiar to me, because I could have swore I bought a t-shirt from this guy. Yeah. When I saw that he had, created a coloring book that spoke to young people about dreams, I instantly fell in love with the idea. And so I reached out to you, brother. So thank you for taking time out of your day to do this interview.
Oh, yeah, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Hey,
sure.
We got to look out for each other. So let me ask you something. So how long have you been an artist, brother?
Bro, I've been drawing since I was about 6. I can remember the first time I actually started drawing. My dad was an artist, first and foremost. So it kind of trickled down to me. My mom used to always say, it was a gift from God because I've never taken an art class before in my life. So just the ability to draw, I literally learned it just growing up and just having it. And so I probably was about 6. I used to be in kindergarten and they'd get a little coloring sheets out. And instead of me coloring them, I'd be drawing the coloring sheet because I'm trying to, get better with the drawing. So yes, I could say I think I could trace it back to about 6, maybe 6 or 7 is when I started drawing for sure.
Man, that's awesome, especially going back that far with your father being an artist.
Yeah.
So it definitely brings up the topic of, with talents, can they be passed down? And, it makes me wonder, is it seeing it or is it truly coming from your DNA,
So to be honest with you, by the time I came along, my dad was done drawing because like the book, he had to deal with the reality of his life and he had to go to work. He worked at the shipyard from the age, I think 19, all the way up until I was, here, in the world, well into the world. So, being an artist at that time, it really wasn't I know my granddad wasn't pushing him to be an artist, but instead pushing him to get a 9-to-5 and work to, provide for a family. So, a family one day, which I can understand. But by the time I came along, he was done drawing. He was doing little stuff, but it wasn't nothing major by the time I got. So I actually didn't get to see him draw, but I would hear stories about how good he was at drawing, coming up and at my age and things of that sort.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
To be able to go back and see that, the parallel and the difference between you two, the fact that he, out of duty, he had to go and do what he had to do, and doing what you had to do, but at a turn when you had a situation where things were crunched with this COVID situation,
Yeah.
you still managed to yo, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna step out on faith and take a chance and put out something that I think the world will love, man. That's beautiful, bro. That's beautiful, man. And if you don't hear it anywhere else, we as a community are hella proud of you.
And
So
I
yeah,
appreciate
bro.
it so much, man. I promise.
Dude. So
Definitely. Go ahead.
let me backstep a little bit.
Okay.
So since drawing since 6,
Mhm.
you just don't just up and be like, I'm a draw. So what what inspired you to be like, you know what? I want to draw something too. Like what ticked with you?
You know what? Like I can't even. I'm not gonna even lie. I can't even pinpoint what ticked in me to even attempt to draw. But I can remember vividly like taking those coloring sheets and just saying, man, I could draw this. And I just kind of just draw the little lines and and it all started off with tracing, of course. And then when I realized, like, man, I could draw this without the paper. So I draw without the paper. And then over time, it just got, I guess when you work at something hard enough, it gets, you get better and better and better and better at it. And then before you knew it, I probably was in like still in elementary school, but maybe in the 5th grade, I was full-fledged drawing at that point. I was drawing
Wow.
Dragon Ball Z pictures for kids for 10 cents at the
Oh
school.
man.
So if somebody wanted a Dragon Ball Z picture, I was in middle school and in the back end of elementary school drawing Dragon Ball Z pictures for like 10 cents.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, you know what's funny is I think everybody went through that phase of, copying those iconic characters in our own way. Because
Yes.
I found my mom was straightening up and I found an old folder of the old trunks I drew when I was
Okay.
like in the 7th grade. And proportions are all wrong, but it was like, whoa, I forgot that I even did this.
Right.
So that's, man, to still stick to it after all these years is amazing, bro. Like, because man, I wish I stuck with it. I really wish I did. So we talked about COVID and starting from 6 up to now and releasing a whole coloring book. There had to be some kind of obstacle that you experienced getting this far, because you said that this was a labor that you did. What obstacles did you encounter along this way of releasing this coloring book?
Well, I would say the biggest obstacle for me is with the coloring book was actually I would have to say myself and I would have to say finances, because I did it out of my pocket. I don't have any, I didn't take out any loans or anything like that. Like, it was going to work every day and just kind of putting aside a little money here and there, and then having, amazing family who bought into the vision and was saying, hey, here's something here, here's something there, to just actually get it to the point where we were able to get it published and get it printed. And then from there, get get the artwork done and get the visuals done that I've been posting lately. So it was, I would say, finances. And then as far as me, is just having a block, because like going through the process, I drew all the pages because I wanted the first coloring book to be an assortment of my drawings that I had I done over the course of 2 years, just going through the whole, like, what is the next step, and what am I going to do with my life? I'm coming up on 30, I'm like, oh my God, I don't have it figured out. So I'm just drawing every day and just compiling these drawings. So I said I wanted the first book to be a compilation of those drawings. And so for me, it was finishing the book, because I didn't use an illustrator on this one. So I was drawing a cute couple here and a couple there, and then I have a block and I can't draw for like 2 months. So the process went from something that could have been completed in maybe a matter of months to something that took, over a year, 2 years in the making to happen. And but the publishing company, IAG, with Mr. Lester Bell, he's on Facebook. Everybody look him up. He's amazing. Black man, black owned publishing company. He was super patient with me. He walked me through the steps and the process, and he actually, like I said, we had a meeting, he believed in it, and this is actually their first coloring book, if I'm not mistaken, that they published. So, you know, helped publish. So it's a big deal. It's bigger than me for sure. And
Wow.
but yeah, that, I mean, if I had to say any obstacles, though, it was myself just going through the creative process and, you know, trying to make sure that I put good stuff out there, or at least the best that I could. And then finances, and it's just like putting aside money here and there to make sure that we could pay for everything, to at least get it out to the world.
Oh, all right, man. I applaud you on that, bro, because that's not an easy thing. A lot of times people get to finances, and that's usually the reason people quit, you know.
Man, well, dreams go to die sometimes, man.
Right. Ooh, money is the currency for dreams. So I completely understand that, bro.
Sure.
All right. So you mentioned earlier that you were, you know, self-financed. So you had to work and do this. And so it was a back and forth thing. So let me ask you this. How did you manage to balance your work life and your personal life and a coloring book, you know, to get this done?
So initially when it started, I was unemployed. I had just gotten fired from Terminix. And so I was at home, you know, all day. So at first it was easy. I was, you know, just banging the drawings out. And then I actually ended up getting a job with the housing board. And so that's when it started to get kind of crazy, because I'm working an 8 to 5 job, and it's strenuous on your mental, you know, because you're dealing with tenants all day. So when you get home, you really just want to lay down and unwind and relax. But I couldn't do that, because in my head I knew this had to happen. I didn't know when it was gonna happen, but I knew I had to get it out. So that was a struggle too. But I will say that I saw a post on Facebook where it was like a meme or something, where if you can't give like your job or work for somebody for 8 hours a day and not put in at least 4 to 5 hours on your dreams. And I saw that and I was like, man, like that's real. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm giving this company, this place, 8 hours of my day every day. And then when I come home, I'm too tired to even focus on my dreams. And I'm like, man, I can't do it. So I kind of had to push myself. So I had to give myself at least 2 to 3 hours a day, maybe even 4, just depending on how I felt, on just trying to work on the book itself. But a lot of it I got done before I started working, because I was in my office drawing to about 4 a.m, just drawing. And like going through trial and error, throwing away drawings and stuff because I didn't like the way it looked and stuff like that. So I got a good chunk of the book done before I got back into the workforce. And then when I got back into the workforce, it was just kind of completing it at that point. But I will say it is tough to, you know, hold down a 9 to 5 and chase your dreams at the same time, because you really do give that 9 to 5 most of your time throughout the week. So, and by the time you're doing it, it's so strenuous on you. You got to push your dreams out, and it shouldn't be that way. Oof. So, but like I said before, it's the reality that we all have to face. Like, we all are dreamers, but reality comes in and says, "Hey, you got to get a job because you got bills. You got to get a job because you got a car. You got a car note. You know, you got lights. You got water. You got to have some kind of income in. And sometimes dreams don't happen like that. So you got to do both at the same time. And like I said, when you do that, a lot of people, it kills a lot of people's dreams, and understandably, because I'm telling you, and my job isn't even strenuous on the body. Mine's just is a more mental thing. But just say, for instance, you have those people who work out in the field and stuff like that. Man, that's a different type of fatigue. And then you have to push through to get your dreams out after you work 9, 12, 10 hours a day for another company. So, but yeah, that was tough. But you just got to push through, especially if you believe in what you got, you know, the product that you're trying to put out. If you believe in it, you just got to push through, and then just pray that the end result, you know, of it all is, you know, it being done and it impacting, you know, the world positively.
Man, you just preached to somebody just now, bro. I don't know if you know it yet. Ooh-wee. All right. So I'm going to follow that up to my next question. You know, this definitely sounds like this was one of those things that you were the first, and you said it, but you glossed over it. I don't think you really caught on to it that with, I believe you said IAG,
Mm-hmm.
the Black Publishing Company,
Mm-hmm.
you were the first coloring book. Sir, you made history. Like, don't sell it short. Like, really absorb that for a moment, bro. Derek Foster was the first coloring book out of IAG, bro.
That's real. Yeah. Sure.
Crazy, bro. Crazy, brother. But I want to ask you this. So up to this moment, you know, you said this has taken time.
Mm-hmm.
In this entire process of drawing, or just overall just being an artist, because, you know, I don't want to focus solely on the book. I feel like the book is an asset of you, you know, like a part of you, but you being the artist and the messenger that you are, I wanted to ask you this question in your totality. Up till now, what experience have you found to be the most memorable as far as being an artist, making this dream come alive? Just overall, bro. Has there been one memory that you've had so far that you've been like, yo, this is why I'm an artist?
I would have to say, I would have to say the moment that I brought the coloring, the drawings that I did to Mr. Bell, the publishing company, and he looked at him and he said, "Man, you really got something here." Like, the look on his face really kind of made me feel like I had done something that was gonna be super impactful for years after I'm gone. You know, it'll be something that my kids can hang their hats on and say, my dad did this or whatever. Because I mean, like I said, initially I'm just drawing because that's an outlet for me, you know. So I'm just drawing, and then as it was coming together, I was like, well, okay, this might be, this might be something here, and then for him, who's doing this, he's in the field of, creating books and making putting people's thoughts on paper and, being able to put it out to people, for him to look at it and say, bro, I really think you have something here. Like, this could be, big. And I'm like, okay, all right. And like I said, I don't know anything about publishing. I don't know anything about coloring books. I don't know. All I know is I drew some pictures, and I colored them myself. And I think they would be, and I have a message behind them. And, he looked at me and said, you got something. So I would say that might be the most memorable of the whole process, was that moment there. Just having that meeting like 2 years ago with him and sitting in Mo's on airport. And he looked me dead in my face and said, man, I think you got something here. So I think that might be the most memorable of the moments thus far during this process.
You know what's interesting? We think, when we think of business meetings and pitches, we think they all happen in this long boardroom with people sitting at a table with their water, and there's a guy in a black suit and a bald head at the end. Nah, big stuff happened at like Mo's, Chick-fil-A,
Definitely was a burrito being made while we were doing this, for sure. Somebody got extra onions and mushrooms on their burrito.
What I'm saying? Somebody forgot their chips, had to come back in the background, you know what I'm saying? So
exactly. Extra queso.
Right. Shout out to Mo's, man. Sponsor us, please. But moving forward though, so I think we'd be remiss to discuss the ups without mentioning the downs, because I don't think that's a balanced view. Because, just like we all celebrate our wins, there are some times where we feel like we're losing. Right. Just to keep it realistic. So at any point, did you feel that you wasn't going to be successful? And if so, who or what changed your mind?
Man, I honestly, it's the first time I ever took a loss was I went to Alabama A&M University.
Hey, Bulldog.
Me too, bro. Shout out to them guys, man. Shout out to the Hill. I went there for 2 years and I ended up having to come back home. And I really it was like the ultimate failure to me, because I let down so many people. And I knew I was capable of, finishing and doing more, but I just wasn't focused enough up there. And so I came home to try to regroup. And I just didn't really know what I was going to do. I lost my girlfriend at that time, So it was just, and I'm young too. I'm like 20, 21. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I should be graduating from college soon. And now I got to regroup. So I would literally that was probably the lowest point in my life. But I will say Bishop State Community College. People talk down on Bishop State a lot, but Bishop gave me a second chance. I went to Bishop. I became Mr. Bishop State. I was SGA president. It kind of gave me a restart, like, hey, hey, pick your head up, man. Like you built for this. And a lot of people, and I tell people all the time, Bishop, the experience at Bishop is what you make it, for sure. And I went there and I made it work for me. And I got to meet so many amazing people. To this day, I can call right now, and if I need a favor, I can get it. Administrators and things of that sort. But I would have to say the lowest point was leaving A&M and just letting down so many people, and me thinking, I was supposed to be an engineer at that point. And then now I'm coming back home and I don't really know what to do. And then I go to Bishop and then I get this recharge in my back. Like this, they put the charge in my back and say, hey, like it's greatness in you and let me pull it out of you. And then from that point on, my belief in myself had shot up to probably higher than it had ever been, because I got that recharge, to just that reassurance, like, yo, King, you got it, And so I would have to say that I would have to give it to Bishop State. Dr. Hazard there, he was the dean of students. I had a meeting with him. He saw me, said, you need to run for Mr. Bishop State. At the first time I ever met him, I didn't know him. I had just came there. They even made an exception for me because I hadn't been there long enough to run for Mr. Bishop State. But he was like, I need you to run for Mr. Bishop State. And I was like, and I kept saying, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, God, in this season. I don't know what you're doing, but, I'm going to go with whatever you got for me. Because I know everything happens for a reason. Like I'm fully capable of doing the work at A&M. So why did that not work out for me? So I knew that the plan that I had for myself wasn't what he had for me. So it wasn't until, like I said, I kind of took my hands off the wheel and was like, okay, I'm going to go where you take me. So from that point to now, I've taken some wins. I've taken a lot of losses. But through it all, I'm grateful for the ride, for sure, because I don't think I would be the person that I am, or even be the guy to be able to put out a coloring book if I wouldn't have went through any of that stuff. So yeah, those would have to be the high, the low and the high point right there.
That's amazing, bro. You really just spoke to me as well, man. Like more than you know, bro. More than you know. Now, my next question, I like to call it my infamous question. Now, it's nothing bad. It's just, it's kind of a detailed question. It's the long-term one. Because you seem like the person, you mentioned you let go and you let God. But I believe you're a visionary, bro. I really believe that. So where would you like to see yourself as an artist, as a man, in the next 1 year, 3 years, and then 10 years?
Okay. Well, in the next year, I hope to be finishing up my first year at Troy University. I got accepted into Troy in October, so I'm going back to finish my bachelor's.
Congratulations, bro.
I hope to be working on the second edition of the Basically I'm a Dreamer series coloring book within the next year. We definitely want to let this one do what it's gonna do. And let it spread its wings a little bit, but I want to get back in the lab and start working on concepts for the next one within the next year. And honestly, within the next year, just continue to grow and be a better person, a better artist, and be more sociable too. Because I'm really ducked off. Like I'm never on the scene, so I want to kind of get out a little more and meet more people, kind of expand like my palette of people that I know. Because I don't really. Like I said, I don't get out much. So within the next year, those are things that I want. And COVID really put a stop to that for me. So I've been really go to work, go home now. But hopefully in the new year, I could be a little bit more sociable, get out and meet more people, and create those relationships that that may help me along the way while doing this. Within the next, you said the 1 and then the 3, right?
Mm-hmm. 1, 3, and 10.
Okay, 3, I hope to be a graduate of Troy University.
Right. Sure. Speak it, bro.
I actually like the place that I work. I like working at the housing board. In the next 3 years, I hope to be in some kind of supervisor position there. I like the work that I do. I like the fact that we get to directly impact people's lives, and I definitely take that job seriously. Every chance I get, I try to speak life into my tenants. Whenever they having those down moments, like I definitely try to keep them encouraged and everything like that. So I like what I do. The second series of basically I'm a Dreamer is out and it's doing what it's doing. I got 2 coloring books under my belt. Hey. And then my other business venture, which is Genius Society Apparel, where we trying to do school apparel as far as sportswear, and then spirit stuff. So like to have your spirit tees and things of that sort, and then produce sports apparel for the teams. So hopefully I'll have about 10 schools under my belt at that point. And now I'm just, I'm cruising on along. And in the 5-year plan, hopefully I have a family. I'm hoping a family comes out of this somewhere. At that point, I'm not a spring chicken no more. I'm getting old, so
My man said spring chicken, y'all.
Yeah, man. I hope I had a family. Maybe a legit running around somewhere.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the goal for real. But that's the 1 to 3 and the 5 for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You said 10. You said
I said 10, but we knew what you meant, and in the crowd we knew what you meant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
that's plenty of time.
But the ultimate end goal, though, if we doing 10, I want to open up a charter school. That's like the end goal for me. Like when it's all said and done, I want to open up a charter school where and then we'll also provide like housing, like low income housing for like the students and things of that sort, and the parents, stuff like that. So I like how the I Promise School is set up, like something similar to that, but just on a for Mobile, like something for the city, because I think it's needed. Like I really want to focus on like math and science and the arts. Like I want to focus on those areas, because those are things that we don't even dig into, like coding and things of that sort. So I want to provide a place for kids to be different. Like you don't have to toe the football. You don't have to dribble a basketball. You don't have to, you can, there's so many infinite opportunities and things that you can do. And I just want them to see them all, and then you pick which one you feel like you work with. But I think a lot of times, because they don't see it all, they just go, okay, I'm gonna play football. That's what I got to do. But just imagine a kid being introduced to coding in the 4th grade. Whew. That changes his whole perception. Like, man, I can build computers.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the end goal. The end goal is a charter school. But like I said, I got a ways to go with that. But we're gonna start with the coloring book, and then we're gonna go that way, and then hopefully that's where we end up.
Hey man, steps to everything. Write it down and speak it into existence, brother.
Oh man, for sure.
All right. Derek, listen, man. This has been an inspiring interview, bro. And I'm not just speaking on behalf of me. I know somebody's gonna hear this / see this and gonna get that spark back. Because like you said, you like to speak life, and you don't even know you're doing it just by telling your story.
Appreciate it, bro.
So my final question is this. The hardest thing to do is pursue a dream.
Right.
It's the scariest. What words of encouragement would you have for that one person who has a dream, but they're afraid to act on it?
I'll say this, and I kind of live by this at this point, and this is for older people, middle-aged people, kids. If you can dream it, it can happen. You can make it happen. All it takes is waking up every day and showing up. And if you do that, those dreams can come reality. They won't be easy. Nothing that's worth having in life comes easy. But if you believe in yourself, if you believe that it's something worth chasing, chase it. Go for it. Wake up every day, show up. Wake up every day, show up every day. And don't ever let anybody tell you that the sky is the limit, because they don't have none. So how can they put limits on you? You can't. There's no limits on you. It's a limit. You're limitless. So, like I said, if you want to do it, wake up every day, show up every day, and never let nobody tell you that the sky's the limit, because it has none. That's it.
Derek, if anybody wanted to follow you on social media, whether it be with a question or they just wanted to support what it is that you're doing, what is the best way to get in contact with you?
Well, my social media is Derek Foster on Facebook. Just type me in, Derek Foster. It might be Derek Foster Jr. Type me in, and I'll show up there. And then on Instagram, it's CEO Genius 89. That'll be me on Instagram as well. And if you want to purchase the coloring book, basically I'm a dreamer. Wait a minute. Plug it in.
There you go.
Right. If you want to purchase the coloring book, it is available right now on Amazon. Just type in basically I'm a dreamer to show up, make that purchase. And like I said, and I hope you're inspired by it.
That is, brother. Listen, again, I appreciate what you're doing. And on behalf of everybody in Mobile, on behalf of our community, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you, bro. Seriously. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
Listen, and that being said, Derek Foster, sir, the 2020 Podcast LLC. Basically, I'm a dreamer, man. Go and copy it. Amazon.com, man.